She laughed in his face when he said he was a neurosurgeon. 2 hours later, she was begging that same man to save her daughter's life. This is a story of how one woman's prejudice almost cost her everything, and how love proved stronger than bias. Dylan Reeves stood before the mirror in his apartment, adjusting the collar of his burgundy button-down shirt. At 36, he was one of the youngest neurosurgeons at Mercy General Hospital, known for handling the most complex brain surgeries with precision that bordered on artistry. His dark brown skin, close-cropped hair, and intelligent eyes commanded instant respect in the operating room. But outside those sterile walls, he was often just another black man people made assumptions about. Tonight was a blind date, arranged by his best friend Kellen, who insisted his colleague's sister was perfect for Dylan. She's smart, runs her own interior design business, and yes, she's white if that matters, Kellen had said. It doesn't matter to me, Dylan had replied, but it might matter to her. Now, walking into Meridian Bistro 10 minutes early, Dylan spotted her immediately. Scarlet Mason sat at a corner table, her blonde hair catching the ambient light, wearing an elegant navy dress that spoke of sophistication and success. She was beautiful, classically so, and when Dylan approached with a warm smile, he saw it, that flash of surprise in her blue eyes. Surprise and something else. Disappointment? Concern? Scarlet. Dylan extended his hand. I'm Dylan. Oh, yes. Hi. She stood, shaking his hand with the kind of professional courtesy that felt oddly cold. They sat, and the conversation felt immediately strained. Scarlet kept checking her phone, apologizing repeatedly. I'm sorry. My daughter Harper is at a sleepover, and I always worry. Completely understandable, Dylan said warmly. How old is she? 10. I'm a single mom, so the worrying never stops. Scarlet relaxed slightly. Kellen, mentioned you work at Mercy General? I do. I'm a neurosurgeon there. Scarlet's laugh erupted before she could stop it, reflexive, dismissive, cutting. Right, a neurosurgeon. She caught herself, realizing how it sounded. I mean, that's impressive. What do you really do at the hospital? The familiar sting hit Dylan's chest. He'd experienced this countless times. The disbelief, the immediate skepticism, the assumption that a black man couldn't possibly hold such a prestigious position. I really am a neurosurgeon, he said calmly, keeping his voice even. Pediatric neurosurgery, actually. I completed my residency at Johns Hopkins and my fellowship at Stanford. Scarlett's cheeks flushed pink. Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. It's just that you look so young, and... She was digging herself deeper, and they both knew it. The unspoken truth hung between them like thick smoke. She'd seen a black man, and assumed he couldn't be a surgeon, maybe a custodian, an orderly, perhaps an administrator, but not a neurosurgeon. It's fine, Dylan said, though it wasn't fine. It never was. It happens a lot. Tell me about your interior design business. They moved forward, carefully avoiding the elephant in the room. Scarlet talked about Mason interiors with genuine passion, and despite the rocky start, Dylan found himself drawn to her intelligence and creativity. But that laugh, that dismissive, disbelieving laugh, echoed in his mind. I really am sorry about earlier, Scarlet said during dessert, her voice quieter now. That was ignorant of me. You made an assumption based on my race, Dylan supplied gently. It's okay to say it, Scarlet. You saw a black man and didn't think neurosurgeon. You thought something else. I'm not usually. I don't think of myself as prejudice. Most people don't, but implicit bias is real. We all have it. The question is whether we acknowledge it and work on it. Scarlet nodded slowly, looking genuinely thoughtful rather than defensive. You're right, and I appreciate you calling it out instead of just walking away. The night's young, Dylan said with a slight smile. I might still do that. She laughed. A real laugh this time, not the dismissive sound from earlier. Fair enough. They were discussing whether to order another drink when Scarlett's phone rang. She glanced at the screen and went pale. It's Brinley, Harper's friend's mom. Something's wrong. She answered immediately, and Dylan watched the color drain from her face. What? Oh my God. I'm coming right now. Scarlett stood abruptly, her hands shaking. Harper fell. She was jumping on a bed and hit her head on a nightstand. She's unconscious. Tears filled her eyes. They're taking her to Mercy General. Let's go, Dylan said immediately, already pulling out his wallet. I'll drive. You're in no condition to drive safely. But the date. Your daughter can't wait. Come on. They rushed to his car, and Scarlet was already crying, her composure shattered by maternal terror. She has to be okay. She's all I have. Her father died 3 years ago. Car accident. If something happens to her. Nothing's going to happen to her, Dylan said with quiet certainty. I promise you, I'll make sure of that. Scarlet looked at him through her tears, and in that moment, the skepticism from earlier was completely gone. She believed him, not because she understood the credentials, but because of the absolute certainty in his voice. She had no idea that certainty came from being one of the best neurosurgeons in the state, but she was about to find out. Dylan drove with practiced efficiency, weaving through traffic with the confidence of someone who'd made this emergency run countless times. Beside him, Scarlet made frantic phone calls, her voice breaking with each update. "She's still unconscious," Scarlet reported, her hands trembling. "Dylan, what if?" "Don't think about what ifs. Focus on the fact that she's getting medical attention." They pulled into Mercy General's emergency entrance just as the ambulance arrived. Scarlet jumped out before Dylan had fully stopped, running toward the vehicle. Dylan parked quickly and caught up just as paramedics wheeled Harper out. The little girl looked so small on the gurney, her blonde hair matted with blood, her face pale. She was unconscious, with an obvious contusion on the right side of her head. 10-year-old female, fell approximately 6 feet. The paramedic called out. Struck occipital region on hard surface. GCS of 6, pupil sluggish but reactive. Whitley, Dylan's voice cut through the chaos with commanding authority. Dr. Whitley Grant, the ER attending, turned in surprise. "Dylan, what are you?" "This is Harper Mason," Dylan said, already moving into professional mode. "I need a trauma bay immediately. Give me a CT scan order now." Whitley's eyes widened in recognition of his tone. This was Dr. Reeves taking charge. "Trauma 2, you're taking this case." "Yes, first date with her mother." He gestured toward Scarlet, who stood frozen, watching everything unfold. Scarlet saw it then, the transformation, the way every staff member instantly responded to Dylan. Nurses moved faster. Orders were executed immediately. The entire atmosphere shifted when he spoke. "Dr. Reeves," a nurse called out, "should I page Dr. Chun from pediatrics?" "Yes, and get Dr. Brooks from anesthesiology. Tell them possible intracranial hemorrhage. We may need emergency surgery." Dylan turned to Scarlet, and his eyes were both professional and compassionate. "I need you to stay in the waiting area while we assess her. I promise she's getting the best care possible. But I need to be with her right now. The best thing you can do for Harper is let us work." He squeezed her shoulder briefly. "Trust me, I've got her." Then he was gone, moving with the gurney into trauma 2, his entire demeanor transformed. This was his element. This was where he belonged. Scarlet stood frozen in the waiting area as Brinley appeared beside her, tear-stained and apologetic. But Scarlet's mind was elsewhere, processing what she'd just witnessed. Dylan, the man she laughed an hour ago when he said he was a neurosurgeon, had just commanded an entire emergency room with casual expertise. The way everyone deferred to him, the way he'd known exactly what to do, what to order, who to call. He really was a neurosurgeon, and clearly an exceptional one. "Oh, God," she whispered. I laughed at him. And now he's the only person who can save my daughter. Inside Trauma 2, Dylan worked with absolute focus. He performed a rapid neurological assessment, his hands gentle but efficient as he examined Harper. Dr. Chin arrived within minutes, followed by Dr. Brooks. "Talk to me," Chin said. 10-year-old with significant head trauma. GCS dropped to 6 in the field, now at 7. "I'm concerned about epidural hematoma, given the mechanism and location of impact." The CT scan confirmed his fears. "There it is," Dylan said, pointing at the screen. "Epidural hematoma, right temporoparietal region. It's growing. We need to operate now." He found Scarlet pacing in the waiting room, her mother Georgette now beside her. "Scarlet," Dylan said gently. She spun toward him, desperation in her eyes. "She has an epidural hematoma, bleeding between her skull and brain. We need to operate immediately to relieve the pressure." "Operate." Georgette gasped. "How serious is this?" Dylan looked directly at Scarlet. "It's very serious. Without surgery, the pressure will continue to build and could be fatal. With surgery, her chances are excellent. I've done this procedure over 100 times. I'm very good at what I do." "Earlier tonight," Scarlet's voice broke, "I didn't believe you. I laughed when you said you were a neurosurgeon. Apology accepted. Now I need your consent to operate. Every minute we delay increases the risk." "Yes, whatever she needs." Tears streamed down Scarlet's face. "Please save her. She's everything to me." "I will. I promise you I will." The operating room became Dylan's cathedral. Nurses prepared instruments with practiced precision. Dr. Brooks managed anesthesia with hawk-like attention. And Dr. Blackwood, the chief of neurosurgery and Dylan's mentor, entered to observe. "Dr. Reeves," Blackwood said with a slight nod. "Proceeding with craniotomy for epidural hematoma?" "Yes, sir. Right temporoparietal approach." "Your call. I'm just here to watch a master at work." Dylan pushed the compliment aside and focused entirely on Harper. Scalpel. For 4 hours, Dylan worked with absolute concentration. He removed a portion of Harper's skull, evacuated a hematoma, identified and cauterized the damaged middle meningeal artery, then meticulously replaced the bone and closed the incision. Throughout it all, Harper's vitals remained stable. Surgery complete, Dylan finally announced, stepping back. How's she looking, Brooks? Perfect. Vitals stable throughout. As the anesthesia was reversed, everyone watched intently. Within minutes, Harper's eyes fluttered open, confused but conscious. Harper, Dylan leaned into her field of vision. Can you hear me? My head hurts, the little girl whispered. Relief flooded through Dylan. She was speaking coherently, an excellent neurological sign. I know it does, sweetheart. You hit your head pretty hard, but you're gonna be okay. Can you tell me your name? Harper Mason. Good. Do you know where you are? Hospital. That's right. Do you remember what happened? I was jumping on the bed at Sierra's sleepover. Tears formed in her eyes. We weren't supposed to. Am I in trouble? Dylan smiled behind his mask. No, honey, you're not in trouble. You just need to rest now. Your mom's going to be so happy to see you. As they wheeled Harper to recovery, Dr. Blackwood placed a hand on Dylan's shoulder. That was exceptional work, son. Textbook perfect. Thank you, sir. Now go tell that girl's mother her daughter is going to be fine. The surgical waiting room had become Scarlet's prison. For 4 hours, she'd paced the same stretch of carpet, wearing a pattern into the floor. Her mother sat with rosary beads. Brinley had gone home, and Kellen had arrived with coffee and quiet support. I'm such an idiot, Scarlet said for the 20th time. I laughed at him. You didn't know, Kellen replied, also for the 20th time. That's not an excuse. I made an assumption based on... She stopped, unable to say it. But Georgette had no such hesitation, based on his race. Just say it, Scarlet. You saw a black man and assumed he couldn't possibly be a doctor. Mother, I'm not judging. Well, I am, but not you specifically. We all have these biases. The question is what we do when confronted with them. Georgette set down her rosary. Your father was the same way. God rest his soul. But he learned. You will too. When Dylan finally appeared in the doorway, still in surgical scrubs, Scarlet's heart stopped, trying to read his expression. Scarlet, Dylan said, and his tired smile made her knees weak with relief. Harper's out of surgery. She's going to be fine. Oh, thank God. Scarlet's legs gave out, and Kellen caught her, guiding her to a chair. Dylan sat across from her. The surgery went perfectly. We removed the hematoma, repaired the damaged vessel, and she's already regaining consciousness. She was talking to me in the recovery room, knew her name, remembered what happened. All excellent neurological signs. Georgette made the sign of the cross. Thank you, Jesus. And thank you, doctor. Can I see her? Scarlet asked. Soon. She's being settled in pediatric ICU now. Scarlet started crying, deep, heaving sobs of relief and gratitude. I don't know how to thank you. After I was so horrible to you. You weren't horrible. You were ignorant, which isn't the same thing. Dylan reached out and took her hand. You had a teachable moment. What matters is whether you learn from it. I did. I promise you, I did. Over the following week, as Harper recovered in the hospital, Dylan became a constant presence. He brought books, horror stories, Harper's favorite, played board games, and kept her spirits up. He also spent increasingly more time with Scarlet, and they discovered shared interests, compatible values, and genuine connection. Tell me about growing up, Scarlet asked one afternoon over hospital cafeteria coffee. Single mom in Detroit. We didn't have much money, but she made sure I knew I could be anything I wanted. She died of breast cancer when I was in medical school. Never got to see me become a surgeon. I'm so sorry. Me too. She would have loved being proven right about me. He smiled sadly. What about your family? Old money, old attitudes. My father died shortly after my husband's accident. Losing both of them nearly broke us. Scarlet wrapped her hands around her coffee cup. I carried forward a lot of their prejudices without examining them, including the one that almost made me miss out on knowing you. We're all works in progress. Scarlet, the question isn't whether you've made mistakes. Everyone has. It's whether you learn from them. When Harper was finally discharged, Dylan went over every instruction personally. You're going to do great, he assured Scarlet. And I'll be checking in regularly. For medical reasons, of course. Of course, Scarlet agreed with a smile. Purely professional. Exactly, though maybe one of those check-ins could involve dinner. I'd love that. 3 months later, Harper was fully recovered. And one evening, over dinner that Harper had insisted be fancy like in movies, the 10-year-old asked Dylan directly, Are you going to marry my mom? Harper. Scarlet nearly choked on her water, but Dylan handled it with remarkable grace. Your mom and I are still going to know each other, but I can promise you this. I care about both of you very much, and I'm not going anywhere. After Harper went to bed, Dylan and Scarlet sat on the porch under the stars. "I'm falling in love with you," Dylan said quietly. "And I love Harper. I love how you're both teaching me that not everyone who makes mistakes is irredeemable, that growth is possible, that people can change. I'm falling in love with you too. Thank you for being patient with me, for giving me grace when I didn't deserve it. Are you willing to keep doing the work? Keep examining those biases every single day, because you're worth it. This us is worth it." They were married a year later in a ceremony that celebrated both families and acknowledged their journey. Harper served as maid of honor, beaming with pride. During their vows, Scarlet spoke directly about their beginning. "I met you with prejudice in my heart, unconscious, unexamined, but real. You met me with grace. You saved my daughter's life. But more than that, you saved me from a lifetime of unexamined bias. I promise to spend the rest of my life becoming worthy of the grace you showed me." Dylan's response captured everything. "I met you on the worst first date imaginable. You laughed at me, doubted me, made assumptions based on my race. But you also did something rare. You acknowledged your prejudice and committed to changing. That took courage. Loving you has taught me that people can grow beyond their conditioning, that grace and second chances matter. I promise to love you through every moment of growth, today and always." As they kissed the thunderous applause, Harper shouted, "I told you they should get married." The laughter was warm and genuine, the sound of people celebrating not just a wedding, but a transformation, from prejudice to understanding, from assumptions to truth, from that terrible first date to a beautiful marriage. It was proof that love really could conquer racism, when both people were willing to do the hard work of examining biases, acknowledging mistakes, and choosing growth over comfort. And they lived happily, imperfectly, honestly, courageously ever after.